Tell me what you see when you look at me. A man who knows exactly what he is doing, she said. Yes, and I will tell you something about Celeste Navarro that she would never tell you herself. She chose forensic psychology because she wanted to understand dangerous people from a safe distance. She built an entire career on the premise that the glass between her and the subject was permanent. She was wrong about the glass. She was wrong about the distance. And she was wrong, most importantly, about which of us was the subject. She arrived 7 minutes early on the second day, which she had not done the day before, and told herself it was professional diligence. The session room held its ordinary silence. The sea through the window was the same gray. He was in the same chair. But he was not looking at the water this time. He was looking at the door. He had been waiting for her. You came back, he said. I said I would. 12 people said they would. Only 4 actually returned. The other 8 found reasons. What kind of reasons? His mouth curved slightly, not a smile exactly. The precursor to one, controlled before it could arrive. The kind, he said, that feel self-generated but aren't. She had prepared questions. She always prepared questions. It was the discipline that kept sessions structured, that kept the clinician in control. She had 6. She asked none of them. He talked, not about Isobel, not about the night his wife died. He talked about architecture, the precise way load-bearing structures work, how a building is designed to carry weight it cannot see, how the most elegant structures are the ones that hide their own strength. And Celeste, who was a forensic psychologist with 12 years of experience in controlled clinical listening, found herself 40 minutes into the session having learned nothing she was supposed to learn and unable to care. She caught herself at the 40-minute mark and asked about Isobel. The temperature in the room changed the way temperature changes before a storm, not dramatically, not suddenly. Simply and completely. What would you like to know? He asked. How did she die? You know how she died. It's in the file. The file says undetermined. I'm asking you. He looked at her for a long time, the kind of long that most people fill with words. He did not fill it. She went into the water, he said finally, and she didn't come out. Did she go in alone? He smiled then, actually smiled. It was the most unsettling thing she had seen in 12 years of clinical practice. That, he said, is entirely the right question. Vale stopped her in the corridor after the session. He had been waiting. She understood this immediately. The specific posture of a man who has positioned himself to make an encounter look accidental. How did it go? He asked. He spoke, she said, at length. Something moved through Vale's expression, not quite surprise. Something closer to alarm that he was managing very quickly. About what? Architecture, his wife, the right questions. Celeste, he paused. Dorian Ashby is a very intelligent man with, we believe, a great deal of time and motivation to study the people around him. Whatever rapport you feel is being built in those sessions, I want you to hold it lightly. He is constructing something. He always is. That's true of everyone I've ever assessed. Not like this, Vale said quietly, not like him. She drove back to the hotel and thought about the word constructing. She thought about it for a long time. She found it on the 3rd night, not in the main case file that she had been given in full, apparently. In a secondary archive on the Blackwell digital system, accessible because someone had not changed a default password and Celeste had, in a previous life, been very good at finding things people thought were hidden. A psychological assessment from 18 months ago, not by one of the 12 listed clinicians, by a woman named Dr. Petra Salles, whose name appeared nowhere else in the file, whose professional registrations Celeste cross-referenced and found had lapsed, and who had written, in a clinical assessment that was never meant to be read by Celeste or anyone like her, the following. Patient demonstrates characteristics consistent with organized, premeditated psychological manipulation at a level that exceeds any subject in my 20 years of practice. I do not believe this patient belongs in this facility. I believe this patient chose this facility. I believe he is waiting for something specific, and I am not certain I want to know what it is. I recommend immediate transfer and multidisciplinary review. This recommendation was overruled by Dr. Vale. The report was dated 14 months ago. Celeste read it 4 times. Then she read the last line again. Petra Salles had resigned from Blackwell 2 weeks after writing it. She was going to call Vale. She was going to ask about Petra Salles. She was going to be professional and measured and maintain the clinical distance she had built her career on. She arrived at the session room the next morning instead, sat down, opened her notebook. Dorian was already looking at her with that specific stillness that she now understood was not passivity, but complete and focused attention. He had been watching her since the moment she walked in. "You found something," he said, not a question. "Tell me about Petra Salles," Celeste said. He was quiet for a moment, then he said something she was not prepared for. "She was the one before you." He paused. "They all leave eventually, or they're made to." He looked at her steadily. "You won't be made to. You're the one I've been keeping this for." He reached under the chair, placed a folded piece of paper on the table between them. "I've been writing it for 3 years. I think you're finally ready."